Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today we are reviewing a movie this time, Captain America Brave New World, the new movie from Marvel Studios, starring Anthony Mackie and Harrison Ford and a couple other people I don't know, and the Breaking Bad guy, and am I missing anybody? Those are the main people, and a couple other people I'm forgetting. So, what do I think about this movie? I think this one was a pretty interesting watch because being an MCU fan has been interesting in the past few years, especially with kind of like the ups and downs going on. Like, for example, I haven't even seen Eternals, and there's oh, by the way, there will be spoilers in this video, so don't be spoiled. Then don't watch. Um, there's a Eternals reference in the movie. There's an Incredible Hulk reference in the movie. There's several other references I can't think of right now, but like what's happening with Bucky right now. He's a congressman. Like what? It's so weird. I don't know if that happened in the comics, but wow. And a lot of chit chat online about whether it should have been Bucky uh, in this role instead of Sam Wilson. And funny enough, I actually really liked Anthony Mackie's performance as Cap, and I think he carried himself well. Uh, it seemed like a serious role, and I'm glad that this movie wasn't as jokey as most MCU movies have been as of late. They knew they had to dial in on this one, I feel like. And yeah, to me, honestly, the first act probably was the best act of the movie, to be honest, because there was a lot of intrigue going on, and you didn't know exactly what was going on. And the second act, things are starting to ramp up. And then the third act, there's, the surprise that we all knew about. That I'm not sure how they could have kept that a secret, but would have been really cool if it was kept a secret. But the third act does deliver with Harrison Ford as the Red Hulk, and you could tell for sure, and you'll hear this in other reviews, that CGI was a little bit lacking in this film, and definitely you could tell with them just standing on a green screen set. You could tell for sure, like you look at the screen, you're like, oh, like what am I looking at? It's so blurry, and like they're just standing in front of the Capitol building. Like it shouldn't be blurry. Like, can't you just go shoot the film at the Capitol building or wherever you're at, or the White House, like, or something like the White House? Why does it have to be a green screen? So that's a complaint I have with the movie. There's some pretty rough CGI moments, but it looks like they spent the CGI well on the Red Hulk, because the Red Hulk was great. He was barely in the movie though, only at the end, but it was a good pacing and build up to that at least. There's some other like kind of pacing issues going on within the movie, um, that like things just kind of happen kind of randomly, with no explanation. And it's, you're not supposed to explain everything. I get that, but the pacing is kind of off for sure in the middle part of the movie. The things just start happening, and people are places at random places when they were across the globe, and now they're at another part of the globe. So it's kind of weird. But putting all that aside, I really did enjoy watching this movie. Um, I know there's some negative feedback going on for the movie, and that's fine. People can have that opinion, of course, because it's a movie and everybody can have their own opinion. And yeah, for me, honestly, like I enjoyed it. Where would I rank it in like the Marvel pantheon of a bajillion movies that are out now? Um, that's a good question. I would say this is probably a middle of the road kind of movie where there's things that it's good at and there's things that's just okay at. Like for example, The I think Joaquin Torres character that you can see in the poster there with the green, very light green, you can barely even tell. It's like basically gray, but it's supposed to be green. Suit. Um, Apparently he's a newer character in the comics, I believe. If not, then he's definitely new in his role as a Falcon. And it looks like he might possibly be like an inhuman or a mutant or something in the comics, because I could tell like his wings are like actually wings, and he's got claws and bird teeth. I thought that would have been cool if they did that with him in this movie. Why not? But I guess they could do that for a sequel if they're going to have a sequel to this movie. That's another big question that people are going to have. Me too. Like, how are you going to do a sequel to this? Because even though it is a good movie, it's having to pull a lot of strings to make that happen. It's got Harrison Ford, Red Hulk. It's got the leader from the Incredible Hulk 2008 movie, or 2007, I think. Um, it's got several things that are holding it tangentially together, like with glue and paper clips and tape. But I don't know how they did it, but it works for me, honestly. I would watch this again. Would I own it on Blu-ray? I think I would, because I really like the Red Hulk scene, and I like the moments that Sam has with some of the characters. I like the moments, honestly, that the Anthony Mackie and Harrison Ford are on the screen. I thought those were some of the best moments. And unfortunately, the character from Breaking Bad, I forget his name, but I know he's a great actor. He's from a bajillion other things, but he barely has a role in this movie. He's basically a side character that has maybe 5 minutes tops in the movie. So if you were excited to see him, you're not going to see him very much. And same thing for the Red Hulk. If were excited for the Red Hulk, you're not going to see him for very much either. Which is funny because I believe the budget for this is a lot higher than what Disney is claiming, with 180 million, budget. um, I think most people don't believe that. Uh, from what I've heard through the grapevine, and also from trends of the past few movies, Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness lied about their budget originally and said 180 to 190 million for their budget, but it was actually a lot more. And same thing for the Marvels, I believe. They lied about the Marvels budget, and it was a lot more. So we'll see when, I believe, the tax information comes out and whatnot, but it seems like it's having a rougher second weekend. That's when I'm doing this review. The second weekend just passed, and there's a pretty intense drop. But with all that said, I actually enjoyed the movie. So I would. I think there's a couple more things I'm gonna say before I give my final grade. I think the Joaquin Torres character could have been better. It's not the actor's fault, obviously. It's just what he was given to work with. They tried to make him the jokey character, and his jokes are just the most basic stuff you've ever heard. And just fall flat. But he's a good character when he's just his regular, genuine self. But when he's trying to be all jokey, it doesn't work. Like what they wrote for him, it's not working. And I would say also about the whole mutant thing, I think they should have went with his comic book look. And if they're not going to go with his comic book look, maybe they'll go with his comic book look for the next movie. Because even though he's a new-ish character or new style character, I usually don't like a lot of the designs for the new Marvel characters, like Ironheart. I think that design looks terrible. The new Iron Fist, I think that design just lacks creativity. Um, but actually, I'd say one example: the new Ghost Rider, Diego Luna, I believe. Might have just butchered that, but his design is good. So props to them for that. The people that designed the new Ghost Rider. But uh, the people who designed this for the movie does not look good. And I'll have a picture up here while I'm talking so you guys can see. But I think they should have went with the comic book look. Maybe they will later and make him a Inhuman or a mutant or something. I think that would be cool. And even there's a video game that I have a picture of, the Marvel Contest of Champions, that shows his fangs. And if they had that mask and that look, I think it would have been more interesting. And the other character, the Black Widow character from like an Israeli Black Widow, uh, I think a lot of her content and a lot of this movie's content in general were cut from the film with all the reshoots. So I will say she was fine. I liked her role. Um, but whatever they cut, I don't know why they cut it, but I think they were lucky and they cut the right things from the terrible test screenings and they were able to make this movie work. So props to them for that. And I would definitely not say I'm a like an MCU shill. Like I'll call them out when I don't like the movie. I really didn't like Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness. I don't think I have that review on here. That was a review I did before I started my YouTube channel. But anyway, Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness, I hated it. Charles Xavier got his neck snapped like a Call of Duty move. I mean, enough said. Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness, out of 10, or okay, let's do out of 5 for movies. I would give that like a 0.5 out of 5. Like, terrible. Story's terrible. It's not even about Doctor Strange. But anyway, enough about that. What would I give this movie rating? I guess I'll stick with the 1 out of 10, even though I just did the 0.5 out of 5. But this movie, I am going to give it a 7 out of 10. It's just middle of the road. Like maybe almost like a 6.5 to 7. It's a good range. I'll just put 7 on the screen for rounding up, but right in that middle ground, the like standard superhero movie is how I kind of feel about it. I feel they dodged a bullet for sure. With the reshoots, I think they just made it work, like I said before, and just kept the right stuff, and it just all magically fit together. And the people behind the scenes that were working on the movie hard, they did it for me. Honestly, I think it worked out pretty well. And my only concern for Sam Wilson Cap is the sequel possibilities. Like, what supervillains are they going to use? Like, Sam Wilson hasn't been Captain America that long in the comics and hasn't had a lot of original supervillains to go against. So that's concerning for the future anyway. But at least for this movie, they pulled some strings, had a pretty good villain combo with the leader and Red Hulk, and it worked. So yeah, let me know what you guys think of this movie. Did you go see it? Will you go see it? And yeah, just let me know what you guys think. I think the Marvel dodged a bullet. Do I think it'll make all of its money back? I'm not sure. I think it's going to be close. But I think it's okay because Disney needs to stay on their toes because they're kind of just abusing the Marvel IP at this point. And I think they sort of know that they're on thin ice with the fans. So I think they need to remain on thin ice so they can make good movies again. I did review Deadpool 3 for this channel, and Deadpool 3 was great. But I think that had a lot to do with the Fox old guard and Ryan Reynolds being heavily involved and Hugh Jackman being heavily involved. Um, and basically Kevin Feige just letting them do whatever he wanted. So I think that's why Deadpool 3 was good. Um, and yeah, this is a 7. It's all right. I would see it again. I'm not going to go to the movies to see it again, but I will definitely watch it on Disney Plus and own it later. So yeah, it's pretty good. Let me know what you guys think of this movie. I know I kind of rambled on at the end there, but I just uh, missed a couple things that I wanted to say. But yeah, let me know what you guys think of this movie, and I'll see you guys later.